Okay, so we've been here taking a look at Dawn of War 3 because, well, we're lucky enough like that. A lot of things are changing. Some of the things are staying the same. One of the things that I was kind of a little overexcited about was the base building has returned.
Yes, excellent.
Let me just take a wild guess and say that there were many people screaming for that to come back. Am I right?
Well, there definitely was a lot of fan request for the return of base building, that's for sure. Obviously our primary decision-making axis is always going to be gameplay, and we wanted to bring back the large armies from Dawn of War 1, and base building is a fundamental part of that, right? It's how you balance large armies, it's how you pace it out. It's also downright fun, you're dropping buildings from space using rocket drills to drill into the ground. But yes, obviously the fan feeling that they wanted to see base building back was a factor for us. So I'm really happy to be able to say, here you go.
And do you feel that it was slightly difficult to sort of bring that dynamic back in without sort of compromising the way that the game flowed and how the way you manage your army has changed?
Well, anytime you change a mechanic, there is some balancing to do, but we were really aiming for those large armies that we experienced in Dawn of War 1, and we wanted to modernize that and make it even bigger and better. And like I say, base building just had to be part of that.
And so at the moment we're kind of and forgive me because I'm sure I'm by far not the first person to have made this joke, but at this stage we're kind of at the dawn of War 3. So we're looking at next year before we're going to see it breaking cover, but on sort of the roadmap, are we kind of getting towards fleshing out the story, or is there still a lot of stuff to be put into place?
Well, internally we're working hard on the campaign and all the parts of the game. We'll be talking a little bit more about the story later on in the year. But I can say that, Dawn of War 3 is about a big fight for a mysterious planet called Acheron, where there's said to be this mythical, powerful weapon, and armies of space marines, orcs, and Eldar are fighting over that. And then when they find the weapon, things go a little sideways for them.
And, just when we thought that the enormous space laser that we just saw, the Space Marines pulled in, wasn't big enough, we've got a mythical weapon to go after as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And, this is typically kind of more at home on a PC, right? I mean, that's kind of a million and one buttons to choose from. But is there any plans to bring it across anywhere else? Do you think that would be a bit too much of a struggle to concentrate things down onto a gamepad?
Well, Dawn of War has always lived on the PC. That is where we want to be. Relic is a PC studio, so we're releasing on PC.
Yeah, it makes sense. But it's always worth an ask because, like, some of the weird wizardry people do to try and compress things in, but I think it's just too expansive a game in order to do so. And then looking at the sort of future support of Dawn of War 3, I mean, are you going to be trying to keep that particular title going by bringing out some more content further down the line, or are we looking to just concentrate on a single unit?
Well, there's people still playing Dawn of War 1 right now, and Dawn of War 2, so that's 12 and 7 years later. And I, by all means, hope that we'll be talking in 5 or 10 years about people still playing Dawn of War 3. So there'll definitely will be continued content. Right now, we're focused on delivering the base game with those 3 playable factions and just making it rock solid. And once we establish that foundation, there's a whole universe to expand into.
Absolutely. And what do you feel that the Dawn of War series brings to the Warhammer universe? Like, there's so many sort of different focuses, I guess, for different franchises, but what do you feel Dawn of War really sort of brings and showcases the best?
Well, I think what Dawn of War does best and what put it on the map and drew attention to the Warhammer fans was bringing the fantasy of armies clashing on the battlefield to life. Really basically seeing your miniatures move and execute things. What does an Eldritch Storm look like? What does an orbital bombardment look like? It's not 3 plastic, blast markers and some dice.
Yeah, making sound effects with your mouth.
Yeah, it's a giant frickin' space laser. So bringing that alive has always been something we've taken a lot of pride in. And I think with this time we're doubling down on that, showing Imperial Knights moving around and these like larger than life heroes in the midst of these big armies. I think we're delivering on that army fantasy more than the best we can, the best fans can hope for.
Absolutely. And finally, what is the part that you've been like looking forward to most about the game that kind of fills you with girlish glee? Like, what is your true sort of love in this particular title?
The Imperial Knight. The Imperial Knight, just like walking her around. She's got Gatling guns for arms. I mean, why wouldn't you want 2 Gatling guns for arms? And her Ironstorm missile pod, which allows you to target 6 locations around the map and just lay down waste. It just never gets old to use. She is just the most badass, best RTS unit we've ever produced. So proud.
Yeah, and I can say from having seen it a minute ago, it makes like every other troop look like sort of specks by comparison to this enormous building walking around. But we're really excited to take a look at this a bit further along. I mean, we're looking next year, but it's definitely one that we're going to be keeping an eye on. We're definitely going to be playing, streaming, reviewing. So keep an eye out for more content in the future, and thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you.